It's v.h.s.x. What do you
bet your
mean?
sweet bippy I did.
All right, everybody, welcome back to a brand new entry for the Killer course, the Killer Guide, the How to Play Killer series. And this is a submission from one of you guys. Shout out to Griffin for submitting this. Really tough game. And very fitting as well, because I have recently picked up Billy and been maining Billy, trying to learn the best to my ability. And I think that this can be very helpful and educational for people that are learning Billy, as this is probably, you know, the person that I'm learning Billy from who submitted this. And also pretty much how Billy would will really end up being played at a high level, I would assume. So we're gonna go ahead and review it. This player has about 9k hours, so we can kind of trust that they must know a thing or two about the freaking game. And I'm gonna go ahead and break it down for you guys that want to, you know, learn and understand how to play this character a little bit more effectively. Let's begin. So right off the bat, you already know he's going to be using pain res, pop, lethal, and I think that's eruption. And we already have, of course, engravings with the I forget which boot that on. I don't know if it's called dad's boot or something like that, or whatever. It looks like cleats or something to me. Either way, very strong add-on selection, very strong perk selection. And we have lethal showing us where exactly to go, which is quite good. As you can see, very good mobility, very good way to maneuver, of course. And decided to go for the Nancy, which is an interesting choice. Which they decided to end up pre-dropping. He does attempt a curve there, which is something that you're definitely going to want to learn when playing this character. As you can see, you already can see that there's a person on the left side there. There's another person even further on the left side over there. And there's a person in front of the pallet. So obviously the first thing in your mind is going to be trying to see if you can either get the Nancy, get the Nia, either one, because if you try curving this, there's a chance you could end up getting one of those two. He did attempt a spin there. Of course, I don't remember if it's a 180 or not, but didn't actually get it there, unfortunately. He does end up switching for somebody over there. Tried to attempt a curve there. Unfortunately, it did not connect. So we attempted again. This map is very tricky as well. I gotta say, very strong attempt here, as you can see. Because notice the pathing, right? We see that they're entering from the right-hand side. We're aiming our chainsaw at the right-hand side to make them think we're gonna commit to that side. As you can see right about here, when we release, we're already turning to the left, which is where they're going. But it somehow didn't get her. As you can see, somehow it didn't get her. I don't know how though. Like you get like it's like chopped. It like chopped her ponytail off or something. Gave her a haircut. Freaking scalped her. Didn't hit her. But very strong movement though. That's exactly what you want to do. Now they did use live, it seems. Very strong attempt for a spin there. Absolutely would have been nasty if that connected. I think you might end up having to deal with the pallet there, unfortunately. But it's always good to get them down as much as you can. Very strong attempt there. They did actually go for the crouch, which is an interesting point. Now, I will say, at least if I have tried it, I might have gone around the long way, which probably wouldn't have got me the hit regardless. I might have tried it that way. I'm not saying that would have worked personally, because I can't confirm if that usually connects or not. But because I'm still learning, but I do like the attempt. And it's a little bit tricky with a pallet like this, because they obviously have the indent with the lockers. So regardless, you know. Now, very strong move here as we're seeing from Griffin, because you notice he doesn't land the chainsaw. Look what she's trying to do, okay? She's running towards him, trying to get behind him. You see, he's perfectly body blocking here to make sure she does not get the prompt in order to drop the pallet on him for her to be able to make more distance. Very strong right there as well. Now attempting a bit of a mind game there, but of course is going to hold W. Very strong attempt there. This is something that I see a lot, at least when I'm even playing Billy as well. I try to do stuff like this, where I'll, you know, look in a direction and I'll go for a spin around. Of course, because if you're playing Billy and you're not going for clips, like, what are you really doing? So, so this is definitely up there for one of those things of like definitely attempting a clip, because like, you know, you're not playing Billy unless you're sitting around trying to clip. You know what I mean? And this is definitely one of those moments where I was like hoping it would have worked, and it almost did. It almost did. So he does slam the fountain there. He does something that I even was trying to like do a lot of as well in my own games, which was like I like to go for a spin around and then use that to break off the chase across the map. And unfortunately the fountain was there, so I wasn't able to do that. Now that tree being there is a bit annoying. I can't lie. that is just the pain of the thing there. I also think this shack's like corners are a little bit thicker than usual, so I think that's what caught him on the rotation there, unfortunately. Honestly, that was very close. I'm shocked that didn't connect. He even has like overcharge and engraving on, so like you would have thought it would have been fast enough, but somehow it wasn't. Yeah, okay. I think I see what happened here, because this is something that we see Billy mains do. This is something that you will have to learn when playing Billy, is how to play Shack with the chainsaw. Now, this is definitely one of the ways to do it, because the window is one of the dangerous parts. Like that's one of the dangerous sides of the Shack when playing against Billy. And so with that, you know, with that in mind, obviously you're dealing with like trying to curve around from doorway, you know, doorway side all the way around to catch him around that particular side. So we do make an attempt here, but I think because of just this particular shack, and this is one of the craziest things about this game, is that a map can literally just decide if something doesn't work. And because of this eerie, like that extra like lip, or like that kind of, or corner rather, that sticks out of the shack, causes him to slam there. So I think he might have gotten, or at least been close to getting the hit, but because of this extra piece that sticks out on the side of the shack, it's actually making it harder to land. So now he has to break off pretty much. Plus, let's not even begin to mention that there's a pallet that connects directly to the shack window just right there. So that's kind of impossible to kind of maneuver without bamboozle, that is. That right there, I'm shocked. I'm appalled. All right. Incredibly nice spin too, but it didn't even break the pallet. I gotta say, if you want to learn anything about Billy, you gotta watch Griffin play him, because it's the subtleties and the things that a Billy player does that will teach you a lot about how to play the character. I like the little shimmy. I've been learning that too. The little shimmy. I call it the shimmy. You know, when you do that little sway. Very strong attempt there. That's pretty much the way you want to do it. You know, if you're not going for curves with Billy, what are you doing? You know what I mean? I gotta say. So we have to break off again, because trying to curve how that didn't connect is crazy work, brother. He got freaking robbed. Like, what are you talking about? Do you think it's because of the crouch? It could have been. It might have been. It might have been. I'm not even sure. It might have been. This particular map is also just very hard for the character to get some value from. So this particular pallet, you definitely want to get rid of as soon as possible. It's very hard to like, oh my god, that's nasty. That was so good. Okay. But we have about 2 gens of, like, it seems like 2 gens are ready to fly, so really is no way around it. But we're at 2 gens, 1 hook. We're going to have to see how this kind of turns out for us, of course. And now he knows which gen actually has progress. So now from there, he can make a decision of going back towards hook and trying to see if somebody is trying to save. And then from there, we'll be able to rotate to see if there's other gens that maybe need to be kicked. Which I have to say, incredible drifting, by the way. That leads into a disgusting snipe, which we absolutely love to see. One of my favorite things to do is drift Billy, of course. And that right there is super nasty. Also showing that, once again, this is the same gen that is being progressed. And of course, they just got the save. Very nice movement here as well, of course. It seems like we're picking up a bit of momentum. Oh my god, I'm telling you, it's that corner of the shack that sticks out that's causing the slam. Because I bet he would have landed it otherwise. I bet he would have landed it otherwise, for sure. God, that's so nasty. I still personally haven't learned to do this yet. So it seems like we're dropping the pallet right around that point is when you're starting to rev. And you can even see from the corner of the screen here, that's where Nia's starting to hold W, which is something that you can learn from even with other characters such as Chucky, such as, I'm not sure, maybe Myers potentially as well. Is like, or even Spirit is like trying to get like the pallet animation is when you can start getting your power active, and then that is when you can start to strike using your ability, and then using you know, your whatever, you know, your knowledge and timing and things of that nature will allow you to be able to get the hit there. And of course, in this case, is going to be the 1 shot down that is going to be required to get some painter's value. So it's very nice. Now, I don't think that, like, I don't necessarily think that you probably needed pain res, considering like the only gen that had progress was like was the one next to the hook, however. But at the same time, getting additional hooks is always going to be beneficial for you with a character like Billy. Very good attempt there on the curve. And of course, one thing that we as Billy enjoyers know, we're not gonna M1 most of the time, you know. And it seems tempting, especially in that situation where you're in front of the Atom, but it seems almost kind of pointless at the same time, because you're giving away free distance and you already can 1-shot anyway, so why even do that? You know what I mean? So in that instance, great job. Good curve attempt, of course. Always good to go for those. Usually the counterplay to that is holding W. And nice vacuum there. That's something that a little mechanic that maybe people that are starting out with Billy may not really know, is the fact that like there is like a sort of mechanic where like your chainsaw will just like magnetize basically 2 pallets. So in some instances it's helpful, and like in that situation where you can just quickly break it. In some situations it kind of sucks because you're trying to go for the person that's vaulting over the pallet and it ends up breaking the pallet instead. I've had that happen before, and I've had both happen, so it's definitely just a part of it. It's understandable. I don't know like how he gets so close and it just isn't like killing him. Very nice hit there as well, of course. That's exactly how you want to do it. Slugging is a very good move here, especially because everybody's injured. They're not really trying to go for a save yet. They can't really go for a save. He does go to check the gens. With one of the pops somehow. I'm like, I didn't think they'd be working on the gen that crazy. So then he does actually come back over because he realizes that the Nancy is pushing a gen that's about 50%. And he does have some pretty good pressure here. Now, if this Atom, it does have a pain res charge, and this is a smart move to go for, because we do know that there is a gen that's about 50% progressed. So the smart move really is to get that to activate. You don't have to come back to that gen really, and then all you have to do is start going back toward hook, which is smart moves. I mean, there's not really anything to say like against that per se. That damn chest. That's another thing that if you're starting out with Billy, chests are going to be a pain in the behind. I'll tell you that much right now. The amount of times that like I've tried to attempt curves and things like that, and because of that stinking chest just in the freaking way, has prevented me from getting downs plenty of times before. It's very, very annoying. And it comes to the territory, unfortunately. How did that not break the pallet, by the way? Interesting attempt here to go for a curve. Ended up getting the pallet, which is quite nice. Nothing wrong with that. Very good read there, I have to say. Very good read there. I can't say that that I would have made that decision, because she's off screen, so I wouldn't have even guessed that she would have decided to have not vaulted, which is interesting. He actually just went in for like just went in and just to see if like that's what she would do. And that is something that I maybe should incorporate myself, because I didn't even think about doing that. Now, you may be thinking, why didn't he hook in the shack? Like, it would make sense, you know, every other killer shack, like you can use the basement and shack. I mean, you're going to be able to get a big advantage. Personally, which obviously they're also on death hook, but let's just say for the sake of example, they're not. I realized early on, like when coming back to the character, of course, that, and of course even from where Griffin's advice, of course, that I will share with you guys, is don't use the chainsaw when going downward, obviously, in that kind of way, like shack specifically. Like your saw pretty much will never connect. And I found that out the other day because I had tried to do the same thing. I put them in the basement, tried to saw my way down to see if I can catch one of them, and they both ran right past me, and it did nothing. So usually with Billy, try to stay out of shack, keep them on a level playing field, like leaving them outside of the shacks and things like that, because you'll just get more hits that way than not. All right. So he actually does end up getting somebody out of the game, which is pretty good. Now they're all injured, they're all one hook, and we see somebody crossing in from the left-hand side. Jen's about to fly, so there's a decision to really make here. But he did have pop and eruption, so I mean, hey, it's a win-win. All you need now is just to get it down. You can get an additional 10%. Claude already pre-ran because they heard the terror radius. Now the problem is that he's kind of leaving the chase there, which would be pretty smart, because the chase would take much longer than, say, 10 seconds or so. Surprised, she almost got sawed in half. That's crazy. She jumped into a locker, which is quite strange. I'm a bit confused as to why she did that, but that's additional slowdown that you just get for free. So I mean, I ain't complaining. Yeah, it's me. And you can additionally drop a pop on it, which also helps slow the game down a little bit more. Now, we know Adam's healthy, right? So realistically, you can at least get your eruption on, which he didn't wait for the eruption, which, you know, is a little bit of a nitpick, but I do say couple seconds, get your eruption and go back to hook. You know, minor nitpick, but it is important, you know, just to include it into this particular video, because it is supposed to be a guide and offer a little bit more insight on how to play the character, so I will include that. Very good attempt on the curve there. They got a stun off, which is fine. Yeah. Smart move. Yep, goes right back to the gen. Almost gets her. Overcharges. Overdrive? Yeah. Overdrive. Oh, come back. Yeah, no, that's pretty smart. I mean, you're pretty much like on the ropes right now, so you kind of. Oh my god, that was close. Because I better apply the eruption then, because like, from here, it's just actually getting the Atom, which is very close. So keeping an eye on the Gen, seeing if the Nancy comes back. Now we can try to look for Claude. Which he would have been able to damage too if he actually had gotten the eruption on the other Gen as well. Very good attempt there, of course, but I think she might have held W. Yeah, she's just kind of camping the pallet, it seems. Unfortunate for the stun. So you got to go back to the Gen pretty much. Don't really have a choice. They didn't break the pallet, which is interesting. I find that to be a little bit interesting. I didn't expect that. Great curve there, I think, or saw, you know, if you will. Which then allows for an additional pop use. We probably don't need it though. Yeah, it's definitely smart to definitely go back over here because there's two gens that are about to be progressed. I think, yeah, he's waiting out the eruption this time. Very smart. Got the pop off as well. But he corrected the mistake from earlier. Also corrected the whole like gen, the pallet rather, not being broken last time. He tried to counter the dodge there, but they didn't actually go for it. He got the eruption as well. So overall, like this is pretty much how it should be played. Like you want to try to split pressure as best you can. Use the fact that you have mobility to your advantage. A little bit difficult to go for the TNL curve. I would have just honestly hooked up the Atom like sooner in order to not only get pop, of course, but to be able to kill somebody sooner because you need some people dead, like as soon which is priority number one, especially because of the, you know. But it's a bit of a nitpick. I wouldn't sweat it that much. We know that the Claude is still by this gen, actually attempting to try to finish it, and actually goes down for it. Quite strange of a choice, but hey. All that's left is really getting to Nancy. Which there's only two locations that she could have gone. The crows actually went off, I believe it was over there, but I'm not 100% sure if that was like one of those ink droplets that are like, or if that was a crow, but now we know the crow is here. Very nice movement there. And then she drops in the locker again. And then she DCs. So there you have it. I mean, that I think, so that is it right there. Hopefully that was very informative for you guys that are learning Billy, that are trying to improve with Billy. As you can see, like I would say a very high level, high skill, high hour player that is playing Billy. And is showing like, even though that like it seems like the chips are down, you're still going to be able to make something happen. With the right play, the right strategy, and it's quite impressive, I have to say. Very educational. Hopefully you guys will be able to learn something from this. Hopefully that it's been really helpful, and consider watching the other killer guides if you haven't already. It's all in the same playlist, of course, and you can definitely catch up on some other stuff if maybe you need like more you know, more fundamentals to master and things like that. There's always something to learn. So see you guys in the next one, and good luck out there.